Hello Rangers, and the activity we're going to talk about now is called A Wreath to Remember. It's one of the new UMAs from the Blue Know Myself Award, and it's to think about Remembrance Day and the reasons why we celebrate it. So we've got quite a lot of equipment you're going to need for this one. You're going to need scissors, pens, potentially different coloured pieces of paper as well as plain white paper, paint, black marker pen, some sort of glue or sellotape, and you're going to need some egg box cartons as well. If you decide to do the method that Guiding has suggested, you'll need at least 12 individual little pockets cut out to create the poppies on your finished wreath. We're also going to think about some of the stories that Guiding have given us on the website, but we'll do those later on the Zoom. So remembrance is something that happens across the world. We're going to create our own remembrance artwork to reflect on what remembrance means to us and to others. Girlguiding and the Royal British Legion are proud to be working together to support the armed forces community and help young women explore the importance of remembrance. If you want to find out more about the remembrance, visit the Royal British Legion's website. So, what do you know about remembrance? What do you picture when you think about remembrance, and who do you think it's for? Remembrance is when we take time to think about and thank those who have protected us. It's observed in many different ways and in many different countries across the world. In the UK, we tend to thank British and Commonwealth soldiers across the world for their service, as well as those who protect and support us by serving their communities at home. Each year, on the 11th of November, people choose to remember them by taking part in Remembrance. Perhaps some of you have been involved in Remembrance services in the past with Guiding. I know my guides and rangers take part every year. How could you spread the message of remembrance in your local community? So we're now going to create a wreath. The base for it is going to be a paper plate. Girlguiding suggests on the instructions here, you cut out the middle to create a polo shape. So you want to keep this bit and create a wreath from here. Now you can cut the middle out with a pair of scissors, but sometimes that can be complicated and you might have to bend this, which weakens it. I'm very lucky, I've got a special craft board and a craft knife, so I could just go round on my craft board and cut that out. You then need to colour this green. If you're lucky and you've got some acrylic paint, you could paint it, but obviously you will need to leave it to dry. You could colour in with pens and pencils, so that will take a long time, or you could cover it with coloured tissue paper or crepe paper. So that needs to be green. Then you're going to create poppies, and this is where your egg box come in. Your eggs sit in the bottom bit, and those are the bits you want to cut out. So when you've cut one of the bottom sections out, it's going to look something like this, which doesn't really look much like a flower at the moment. So you need to cut all the indentations down until they're even. Show that from the side and look something like that. This you then need to paint bright red, or again, you could cover it in tissue or crepe paper that's bright red, and then using your black marker pen or a piece of black card or paper, make a dot in the middle to create your poppy. You're going to need at least 2 egg boxes this size with 12 little indentations to create your wreath, which will then end up looking something like that. So that's the type of wreath that Girlguiding is suggesting you do. But I know during the first lockdown, there was a huge shortage of cardboard egg boxes. So I decided I wouldn't make one like that way. I've decided just to keep a paper plate that's whole. And from various other guide units and youth groups I've worked in, out of green paper, I have drawn round my hand and cut them out. And I'm going to stick them round on my paper plate, one on top of the other, to create the greenery effect. and I'll go all around my plate when I finish this, I'm going to stick a nice guiding trefoil in the middle to cover them up, and then either just on the bottom or all around the sides. I haven't decided yet because I'm going to sit and do this during my ranger meeting with my rangers this evening. I've downloaded some templates for poppy shapes and leaf shapes, and I may just stick one at the bottom, or I may stick some more around the edge. So it's entirely up to you how you create your wreath. It's as much about making it, but also about thinking about remembrance and how we do it at the same time. And then you could, potentially with a paper plate, write a nice message on the back. And I'm going to go out and put this on some of the local memorials up in our green and also over on the Barracks Square to remember the airmen that flew from our airbase in the Second World War. So that's basically making a wreath. But if you've got a better idea, perhaps you might want to make something out of natural foliage. Brilliant. So your wreath is one way to take part in remembrance. Can you think of anybody who might want to take part in a different way and how they could do this? Obviously this year it's going to be very different. We can't gather in large groups. So perhaps you might put the wreath in your window, or perhaps you might have a war memorial in your local churchyard, and when you go on your daily walk, you could perhaps leave it up there. It's entirely up to you. What ideas? We're going to talk about this in our ranger meeting this evening and also share the wreaths that we have made. So good luck with this one. For you, those of you that love doing craft, this is a lovely one to do, and it's an act of remembrance at the same time. Thank you.